Okay, this is Nicole Britton, and this is going to be my second tutorial on Google Sites. And I'm changing my tag right now because this isn't correct. So the lower tag's about to change. I will go over how to do that when we have our next session. We talk about Google Hangouts. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen with you, and then I'm just going to go over basic Google site edits. So in order to make Google site edits, you need to be logged into your Google account. You're not going to use the link to get to your site that everybody else does. If you use the link to get to the site that like everybody else does, you're not going to be going in as a person with edit rights. You're just looking at it as a viewer. In order to get to a Google site with edit rights, you log into your Google account, you go to the squares, and you find the one that says sites once again. And once again, like I said on the other video, if you don't see sites here, go down to more, open it up, and you can even go to even more if you need to find all of them until you find the one that says sites. Once you're accessing things on a regular basis, it'll be up at the top. So what you see here are all the sites that I've either created or other people have shared with me, and I have edit rights. The site that I'm going to work on is the example site that I created. I've already deleted a few things while I was messing around with it. So when you come in, you'll see that you have a pencil here. And you need to remember that before you can do work, you need to pick up your pencil, just like when you're writing on a piece of paper. So once you click on the pencil, you're going to see a taskbar pop up on the screen. And now suddenly the top of it looks a lot like if you're working on a Google Doc or a Google slide, and it'll be familiar to you. One of the big differences with a Google site that is not the case with Google Docs or Google presentations is there is a save button, and you do need to use it if you want your changes to be saved. So just like if I'm working on a Microsoft Word document or a Google Doc or anything like that, it's the same thing. Say I want to change the coloring here. First I need to highlight it, and then I can go ahead and make any changes that I want to it. I can change my font. There's not a ton of font options. I'm hoping someday Google changes that a little bit. So if there's things that I want to delete, there's a spreadsheet right here if I want to get rid of that. Well, I'll come back to that in a minute. It looks like that's going to be a little more convoluted. So after I make the change here, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to pick my pencil up and show you one more thing. On the top of every page has a name, which is showing up over here in my template. This is the name of that page. If I were to change this, front page, I just want you to see what happens. And I'm going to hit save. Notice that its name changed over here. Okay. So again, this box is the title of the page. So whatever you have in this very top box right here is going to be on your it's going to be over on your sidebar. So be careful what you do with that very top box. Okay. So now I want to talk about changes over here, because this isn't a pencil thing, it's a gear thing. So anything in this section of the website, you're actually going to pick up your pencil to deal with. But when we get to this side of the website, you're going to be using the gear. And so this gear right here has some other changes. places to get into the website. And we're going to go to the one that says edit site layout. And I'm going to click on that. And when I do, all of a sudden I see a pencil here. And so if I want to change this countdown, let's say I want to have a countdown until the 4th of July. On this box here, it pops open a calendar. Make sure you have the right year selected and the month that you're counting down to. And in this case, it's the 4th of July. And I say, okay. And it's going to think for a minute. Okay. Any other changes I want to make on the sidebar, I do now. I don't have a discussion section in my website. So I just think that I'm probably going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to say close. When I click on close, I now don't have the pencil here to make changes. So again, if there's something on this website that I want to make changes on, I'm going to pick up my pencil. I shrunk it down so I can see the whole thing. And I'm going to make it larger now. And I'm going to hit save to go back to the way I want it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about inserting two things on the website really fast. So let's say I have a Google slide presentation that I want to be on my website. So I'm going to pick up my pencil and I'm going to click in a box section where I can add something to my site, and I'm going to click on insert. And then I'm going to, after I click on insert, I'm going to come over to Drive and hover over it. And if it's a presentation that I want to insert, I'm going to click on that, and it's going to give me a list of all the presentations that I've created. Now I need to think about permission settings. One of the neat things about all of the Google features is you can keep them private. So they're up there on the cloud for you and they're private. So if you want something up on the internet for people to see and you hang it up on your site, you need to make sure that your permission settings are opened up. And we talked about that at our first meeting. I am just looking for session 1, I think. Actually, I'll go ahead, the session that we're doing right now, and I'll say select. And it's going to ask me a couple questions. Do I want a border around it? And I can say yes or no. Do I want this title with it? I could say yes or no. I have some options on size. I'm going to keep it small. I have an option of starting the slideshow and making it just toggle through each slide as soon as the player loads. If I want it to just run like that, I click this box. If I wanted to just run one time and then stop running, that's all I would do. But if I want it to restart and continually loop, then I'm going to click on both of those. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And this is what it looks like right here until it's done saving. Once it's saved, then you'll see it the way that somebody would on your site. So again, to insert a video, I just pick up my pencil. I go to insert. I go to my drive. I go to my presentations and I choose one. And then I hit save. Now, let's say I made a Google form that I want to have on my site for people to fill out. So if that's the case, then I'm going to pick a spot on my website where I want to place it. And I'm going to click on insert. And I'm going to go to my drive. And I'm going to say form. And then these are all the forms that I have created or other people have shared with me. So I will select a form. Here's tech training form. Let's see. And I'm going to say select. And it's again asking me about the size and if I want a title, and I'll say save. I have a choice of centering it. That's what these are for here. It's asking how I want it layout wise in the site. Oh, that one's a presentation. Sorry, the form's down here for the edit things. So I'm going to center it. And I'm going to say save. And it's loading, it's saving. Okay, so you can see now I've got my Google presentation here. And then I have a survey. And I'm now going to, it's kind of messy. I'm just showing you how to put things in quickly. I'm now going to come down below this and just show you how to put a doc in. Oops, I lost it. I was moving my mouse around too much. Okay, so I'm going to click. So I have my cursor blinking, and then I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Drive, and now I'm going to go to Document. And I'm going to select something that one of my students had shared with me, I think. So these are things that I've already hung up online. So I know that there are edit rights. I know her mom's in here, so I think I'll pick that one. Okay, so I'm going to hit select. And again, I have a choice of where I want it. And then I'm going to hit save. And after it's done saving, I'll see what it looks like. Okay, so now, and I didn't center things, so it's messy. So now I have a Google presentation on my site. I have a Google survey on my site. And I have a Word document on my site that is actually an example of one of my students' work. So you can see how things that you've put inside your drive are easy to put on your website. The only other thing that I'm going to talk about is the file cabinet page really fast. And so that's this one. If you happen to choose a template that has this, this is my favorite. I use this all the time to organize different things that I'm working on. I have a lot of sites that I use just for me. So what you can do here is it's just a virtual file cabinet. So an example of how I use this is I have an outdoor school website that I make because I'm in charge of outdoor school for a building. And so on the file page, I'll have all of the forms and things that parents need to access and print and send back in. It could be assignments for students. It could be things that you're just wanting to display. But again, it's a very easy way to share things. You have two choices. You can add something from your drive, and it would be anything in your drive. It could be a presentation, or it could be a Google form. It could be a Google Word doc, anything like that. I'm going to put this Kahoot fact sheet in here. And if I want to create little files for them, I'm going to say new folder, and I'll call it gamification. And then you can click on that and move it, click on move, and move it into the new folder you made. You can close your folders by going like that, open your folders by going like that. So if I want to add anything else, a link, so say there's a website that I want to put on here. Let's say I want to put Kahoot. No, I'll do this website. So this is a website on Wikispaces. So let's say this website's a good resource. Well, I have a link now and I just say add link and it just says put the link right here. And then what do you want it to say? Website that gives some resources. And if you want to type more stuff, you can type more stuff here for information. And say add. So now you can see, and this is something, if a number of people working on it, you can see who adds it. This is one I don't have to hit a save button on. Okay, so I think that's about all I want to talk about for this. I'm going to go back to the home and just review again. In order to edit your website, you need to pick up your pencil after you make your edits. After you make any changes that you want to stay, unlike other Google features, you have to hit your save button. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope this was helpful.